We're here in Zug, Switzerland at the TechCrunch sessions, and we're here with Bill Tai, one of the most leading VCs of Silicon Valley, I can say. Is that true?
Well, I've been around a long time. If age and experience gives you that status, then I guess maybe I'm close.
Actually, you're in the space for since '91, isn't it? As a VC.
I've been a venture investor, yes, since 1991, and I've funded probably 150 companies over the years. Sounds like a lot, but almost 30 years, maybe 4 or 5 investments, and I look at hundreds per year, so it's actually not that much.
All right. What makes this space, this crypto space, different than the .com space?
It's I think the companies now in this space compared to a similar phase of internet are more practical. I think, the internet things, of course there were users, there was no way to monetize early on. I think a lot of the applications here they're companies with revenue.
Mm-hmm. So you mean these crypto companies have revenue?
Well, it depends on which one. I take an example of HUD 8 mining, which we put together. Of course it's mining, but it was a kind of a project with Bitfury. We basically set up a company in November of last year. Our very first full 3-month quarter was just this March. And for a company that was a few months old, we did almost 11 million in revenue for the quarter and 8 million of gross margin, 7 million of profit. That kind of stuff didn't happen in the internet for a 5-month-old company. So it's impressive.
For instance, I have a crypto company, an ICO, and I want to send an email to you. What attracts your attention? What is decisive?
It's the same thing that was in ventures. Basically, a very big market that could be create a space for a foundational company and a great management team, and an idea that's differentiated.
Actually, you mentioned in your presentation Power Ledger.
Yeah.
You're still bullish on them?
Very. Think about what happened with Power Ledger. It mirrors what happened with the internet. In the world of internet, you had monopoly phone companies with circuit switch technology. Once you could break that up into packets and set up ISPs on the carrier's lines, you had 10,000 phone companies for every phone company. Yeah. And you had an explosive market that gave birth to a lot of stuff. Power Ledger is exactly the same thing. You've got power infrastructure that looks like the telco companies, and you have the ability now to set up small carriers. Every single entity with solar panels is like an ISP. It could be a very big play to enable a gigantic sweeping change.
It's quite disruptive in this energy sector, which is quite slow. And
so was the phone. You talk of phone companies in the early 90s, they were pretty slow too.
Yeah. Are you looking for specific industries? Some people say the gaming industry, the financial sector, it's very suited for blockchain.
I'm very excited about what can happen in the financial sector, which is why I worked with and funded AirSwap. I think they're a platform play also. If you think about the creation of Wall Street outside of the wall at the New Amsterdam Fort and under the Buttonwood tree, it started basically as a place where people would trade pieces of paper representing physical goods. Became the New York Stock Exchange. Once you had rules, governance, structure, repeatability, you created all of Wall Street, the JP Morgans, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, and I think crypto is going to go through that same thing where now you are trading value, and all of the ancillary functions that can be built on top of it could create giant companies over time.
Right. Just one last question. You're heading to Morocco. You're a kite surfer, isn't it? You're going to kite surf in Morocco? Or?
I have kited Morocco quite a bit on the west coast in Essaouira, Sidi Kauki, that area. In this particular case, we're going to be in the Atlas Mountains at Richard Branson's lodge called Tamadot. Wow. So no kiting there, but we're going to do some other fun stuff.
Okay. Thanks very much, Bill, for your talk, and best.
Okay, take care.
Okay.